my sister and business partner, Christina Maggio. Thanks for being with us today. So I'm really excited today. My topic that I'm going to be doing today with Christina is going to be building value within the financial inventory. The financial inventory is meant to be used as a tool and a guideline to help us, in terms of what we actually need, but then also to help us in terms of asking good questions, right? We want to make sure that the value is built, and the value is built in the financial inventory. If you're getting a lot of like, I don't think I need it, or I need to think about it, it's probably a value problem. And I know for me that these questions were always comfortable, but I had to go through them. So for the sake of time, just to kind of let everybody know, because people always ask me, like, what do you walk in with? So I have a bag, I'm a female, obviously, so it's just a black tote bag, no big deal. I have my insurance license laminated. I do use a clipboard, and it's in this order, the insurance license, so when I go to their door, Christina can see my license, right? It's the first thing she sees. And then I always just typically have my iPad right in between. So that's my setup. So now I'm sitting with Christina. Christina's 40 years old, and her mortgage is $250,000. And when I spoke to her on the phone, I asked her, Christina, most importantly, how would you fill the form out? Who are you looking to protect? Was it mostly coverage for yourself? Were you worried about your family, or what was your biggest concern?
I was worried about my daughter.
Your daughter? Okay, Christina, so I completely understand. Then I went ahead and set the appointment. So now I'm sitting in the home with Christina. For the sake of the camera setup, we are going to go ahead and do, this way. But what I would typically be with my client is they're on that side of the table, I'm on this side of the table, so that I can look at them, they can look at me, and it's a little bit easier. But with that being said, I'm going to just basically jump into financial inventory, what it looks like, sounds like, and again, this is a mortgage appointment. I do simply just leave my license on the table. If Christina wants to look at it, she can. She wants to take a picture, she can. Most folks don't really ask me about it, but if they do, it's right on the table. Christina, go ahead and take a photo, right? So it just, for me, that releases any type of like a scam or whatever, the stuff that we may get. So just nonchalant is the best way to do it, in my opinion. All right, so Christina, at this point, I went through my role and purpose with Christina. I told her who I was, where we're going, so to say. So I'm not kidnapping her. All right, so Christina, you put down you're 40. That's right. You're not a smoker.
No.
All right, and you owe about $250,000 on the home. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, and that was a refinance.
It was, yeah.
Oh, okay, great. And what's that new monthly payment?
It's about $1,500.
About $1,500. That's with tax and insurance.
Yeah, give or take.
All right, so $1,500, and it's on a 30-year.
Yes.
Okay. And now, Christina, if you were to go ahead and put the home on the market today, how much would it sell for?
Probably like $325,000.
About $325,000. Okay. So you have $75,000 of equity in the home. That's awesome. Great job, Christina.
Thank you.
I know you worked hard for that. All right. And what do you do for work?
I'm a nurse.
You're a nurse. Okay. How long have you been a nurse?
For about 10 years.
10 years. Wow, brand new?
Yeah, something like that. Learning new things every day.
Of course. I'm only kidding. But you help a lot of people. That's awesome. All right. And Christina, roughly what is your monthly take-home pay after taxes?
After taxes, right around $4,000.
Right about $4,000? Okay. And are you paying anything extra on the mortgage at this time?
No.
Okay. All right. And now, Christina, what do you have to offset the cost of the mortgage if something had happened yesterday? Any 401ks, IRAs, life insurance policies, outside of work, anything like that?
I have insurance through work.
Okay, so on your job you have insurance?
Yeah.
Okay. And are you familiar with how that works?
What do you mean by that?
So of course you have your benefits when you're on the job, and I always encourage folks to keep them, Christina, because they're typically fairly inexpensive. However, it is really important for you to know that if you were to get downsized, laid off, quit, become disabled, or most importantly, when you hit that age of retirement, typically you lose most, if not all, of those benefits.
Okay.
So we want to make sure we're looking out for the long haul of the home. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure. So basically, if I'm not working with the current hospital that I'm at, I don't have those benefits.
Correct, because you'd no longer be considered part of the group, right? And now for the sake of the string, let's say, Christina, and you come back me. Go ahead. Like, no, I keep the insurance.
No, I would keep the insurance. They told me that I could take it with me when I leave.
Yeah, so you're always able to carry your insurance, but then it would then become an individual policy. You want to think about it like this, Christina. If there's 100 employees under this umbrella, right, and you have to leave because you're sick, right? You have to just take a little bit like a time off, like a week or so. You're not really sure what's going on, right?
Okay.
But eventually they find out, God forbid, you're not doing well at all. You're not going to be able to go back to work. The day that happens, you're no longer part of the group because if someone has to come in and replace you, right? So they can't be paying for more than 100 people's insurance policies. Does that make sense? You get kicked out of the group.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you have any questions about that, Christina?
I guess I can't take it with me when I leave.
I don't have the actual policy in front of me, but the way that it typically works, Christina, is you can take the insurance with you when you leave, but it would become an individual policy, meaning that if you're 65 when you retire, you're going to be viewed as a 65-year-old and in your current health condition at that time. When you're in a group insurance benefit, your health doesn't matter because you're part of a group.
Got it.
Okay? So you can carry the insurance. It's going to be a heck of a lot more than when you're 40, okay? All right, so no other questions on that?
So the price would go up if I took it individually.
Oh, absolutely. What do you pay,
Okay.
about $3 a week right now or so?
Yeah,
$10 a week?
$10 a week.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you're paying $40 a month. I'm not sure. What is it? 3 times your salary?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. With that being said, that amount of coverage at 65 is going to be a heck of a lot more than $40. And sometimes what I'll do, guys, is I'll actually show the client, hey, look at this. Look at the quote.
I love that. You just bust out the quoting tool.
Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
wait? You want to wait 25 years? Okay, cool. This is what it's going to look like. You cool with that? Right? Let's pick our battles, okay? So anyway, let me proceed. So that makes sense, the work insurance.
Makes sense, yeah.
Right? It's geared to that group. When you're not part of a group, you leave the group for any reason, wanting to or unwanting to, you drop off, okay?
Okay.
How about anything outside of work? 401ks, IRAs, savings, life insurance policies you own and control yourself.
I have a 401k that I'm still paying into.
Okay. And do they match you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And roughly what do you think's in there?
50,000.
About 50?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. And now I know that we spoke a little bit on the phone with Christina about this, but when you had filled the form out, you mentioned biggest concern was your daughter.
Yes.
Okay, so in the event something happens to you, you want to make sure that the mortgage will be paid off for your daughter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's her first name?
Tiana.
Tiana. Okay, Tianna. Okay. And how old is Tiana?
She's 12 years old.
She's 12. Oh, okay, awesome. What grade is that? 5th grade?
Yeah,
So,
she's in 5th grade.
I'm just making small talk. That's it, right? Okay, and any other children?
No.
All right, so it's you and Tiana here. All right, love it. Okay, so if something happens to Tom, you want to make sure Tiana always has a roof over her head.
100%.
All right. And then with that being said, do you have a will in place at all?
I do.
Awesome. Okay, when's the last time you updated it?
Probably about 2 years ago now.
All right. And is there anything in there that you should be updating, or you made your final updates? Everything's pretty up to date.
It's up to date.
All right. You always just want to make sure you have that in order, because to avoid probate and anything scary like that. Okay. And now let's see, Christina. When was the last time you saw your doctor?
3 months ago.
All right. And is it fair to say you see your doctor at least one time a year?
Yeah.
All right. And that 3 months ago, was it your routine checkup?
Yeah, it was just a physical.
Just your physical? Everything looked good?
Great.
All right. That's always good to hear. And how about any medications you're prescribed or taken daily at this time?
I take Lisinopril.
Okay. And is that a 10 milligrams?
Yeah.
One time a day?
1 time a day. I've been on that for about 2 years now
Okay.
for high blood pressure. That's other than that, no other medications.
All right. Got it. So lisinopril, 10 milligrams, 1 time a day. All right. And any medications that you were prescribed in the past 10 years, maybe you didn't take them, maybe you did, anything like that?
No other medications.
No.
Actually, I had broken my leg about 7 years ago, and they gave me a painkiller for 1 month.
Okay, just for a month though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, no other medications.
Okay, well, happy you're walking around now.
Thank you.
You got it. Okay. And then any past scares for you, Christina, like cancers, heart attacks, strokes, anything scary like that, hospitalizations in the past 2 years?
Just for my my leg. That's the only
The
time
7
I've been
years.
hospitalized. Yeah.
So you haven't been hospitalized 7 years.
No.
Awesome.
No other hospitalizations.
All right. Great to hear. All right, and Christina, before I go and get some options pulled up for you, is there anything else health history-wise that you think would be important for me to know?
No, I don't think so. Not that I can think of.
All right, that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, because like I mentioned, we just want to make sure we have all of our ducks in a row on our end so we can submit for the proper coverage and make sure we get you approved, all right?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's see. So I'm going to pull up a couple of options for you today. So I pulled the options up and I now know what I'm going to show Christina. However, you might be thinking to yourself, there wasn't a heck of a lot of value built there, right? Because that's what I'd be thinking. I'm like, I'm over here living on a prayer if we get a picture right now, right? So there's a couple things I want to point out though in the financial inventory. First and foremost is the equity in the home. The equity in the home is simply what is the value, what is the house worth if it's on the market minus what the person owes.
Mm-hmm.
She owes $250, so the house is worth $325, $75,000 of equity. We have to realize as agents, like, and just as human beings, like, whether it's rent, home, whatever, like, it's all about when you're, like, when you die, your income dies with you. So if we can protect that $75,000, like, that's what we're bare minimally doing, right? Meaning that your daughter, Tiana, is never going to lose the equity in the home. So I point out the equity for a reason. I ask if she's putting anything extra towards the mortgage for a reason, because that's a way I can sometimes spend that $300 a month and say, instead of paying it extra onto the principal, you're going to take that, you can pay this off sooner. So there's so many different ways to do it. And then diving in on the medication is a big deal, right? You can say, do you take any medications? And they're like, no. No is the easy answer, right? Like, there's been times when people tell me that they take no medications and then they get declined. Then it's like, well, like, so ask questions, dive in deeper. If you feel like your client might be like holding in things about health, like reassure them, like you're there to advocate for them. Like you're trying to help them. You're not there to judge them, right? So with that being said, I'm now gonna go, I already know what I'm gonna show Christina, right? And now I'm gonna go into some deeper questions, right? So Christina, before I show you options, I always just like to make sure, this is something that you actually need, okay? Because sometimes people are overinsured. I'm not here to make you insurance for, okay?
Okay.
All right, so Christina, who's the first pod person that Tiana's calling for financial help if you died last night?
My sister.
Okay, and where does your sister live? Does she live here in Massachusetts?
She lives in Florida.
In Florida, okay, awesome. Is she married?
She is.
Okay, any kids?
She has 2 children.
2, okay. You see them a lot?
Every few months.
Every few months?
Yeah.
That's good. All right, and then in your sister's home, is there an extra room? Like, is there extra space? Like, what would that actually look like for Tiana? Is she gonna have to change school systems, I'm assuming, going from Mass to Florida?
Yeah, she'd have to change school systems.
Make new friends,
Yeah.
all of those things. Okay. What does that actually physically look like for Tiana? Like, you died last night.
Mm-hmm.
Tiana's in your sister's home. What does that look like?
I mean, I'm not sure.
Is it crowded?
Yeah, it would be crowded.
Okay. So
Yeah.
everybody would kind of be a little bit on top of each other.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a room for her there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with your sister, is she well off enough that she would want to be, bringing another kid into the house? Like, can she afford to do that? Or is she really financially well off?
I mean, she does well for herself, but I'm not sure. I mean, she would if that's what it came down to. Yeah.
Okay, if push came to shove,
Yeah.
she would. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so we know that, so essentially what I'm hitting on here is who, right? Who's the first person ex-beneficiaries calling? What would it look like? Where would they go? Here I already know where she would go. She'd go to Florida and she'd have no room, And Christina, how soon would Tiana have to get down to Florida if you died last night?
I mean, pretty soon.
Like today,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And how would you think that would impact her? Mentally, emotionally? the rest of her life. Like, what would that, like?
It'd be a lot for her. It'd be a lot of changes in a short period of time.
All right, well, Christina, after hearing, a little bit about your story and understanding, now I know exactly, why I'm here. So thank you. So I understand why you definitely need this insurance. So let me show you some options that we have. Boom. Then I'm gonna go right into the options, and that's so important because I just pulled those questions out of her, and I'm sitting next to my sister, and I know that was fake. Like, I know it was a role play, but in all seriousness, I felt for her. Because I look at her just like I look at every client. Like, I feel for the spouse, I feel for the kid, I feel for the beneficiary. And when you're actually putting yourself in that person's shoes, you might be like, oh, well, like how I said, now I understand why I'm here. You might be like, well, that's pushier, that's this, that. No, it's not. Exactly. I need my client to sell me on why they need the insurance. She just told me, her sister's gonna take over. That Tiana's not gonna have a room. She's going to be mentally distraught, essentially, is what you said. She would have to move, like, right away. And, like, there's not a solution. The solution is here, guys. The solution is the product that we're showing. She told me her problem, and now I'm going to find her solution. In this case, the way that I do my order of operations, so to say, I already know what I'm going to pitch her. I do that on purpose, asking those questions to make sure I can dig out the full why right before I show options. Because for a couple of reasons, people don't talk about this every day. And when they do, we have to take it seriously. This could be the last time that they're going to talk about insurance, life insurance. Like, make it good. Make sure they have it. Make sure you're bold enough to be honest. Like, sometimes it's hard because it's like you want to be able to cover the whole $250 on an 8-year-old. But you can't, but there's other ways, right? Equity rescue, right? Like, you have to find out what the problem is, find the best solution for your client, and there's not gonna be sales pressure, right? It's a transfer of thoughts, and that's what's happening through those questions. So I hope this helped you all out today. Anything you wanna add?
I think that it's just really important that when you're in the home, like Marisa said, that you're taking this situation seriously. And I love what Paul says, you have to go in every home and think like this person's gonna die tomorrow. Like, I'm their last hope. And when you put yourself in that mind state and you take what you're doing seriously and you put yourself in the shoes of the client and the beneficiary, there's no way that you're not gonna help that family.
Absolutely, because you treat it like your own, right? So I hope this was helpful. Thanks for being on with me today and being willing to be my mock client. But this is so important. And I just last thing I do want to point out is these questions, they weren't always easy for me to ask, right? Like, the first time I saw it, oh, people ask this, I was like, that's really uncomfortable. Every time you're uncomfortable in a home, you're winning. Whether you help that family or don't, you're winning because you got uncomfortable, you were honest. Like, I'm going to be honest with Christina that Tiana is not in a good situation if Christina died last night. And Christina now sees that because it was a transfer of blood. So I hope this is helpful. Appreciate you guys tuning in. See you guys next time. Bye.